Charlie Kirk, co-founder of Turning Point USA, was fatally shot on September 10, 2025, at around 12:20 p.m. MDT during an event at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, part of his American Comeback Tour. The crowd of about 3,000 people had gathered outdoors for a Prove Me Wrong table debate when things turned deadly. Authorities believe a shooter from a rooftop building known as the Losi Center fired a single bolt-action rifle shot that struck Charlie in the neck, a wound from which he later died at the hospital. This incident came amid heightened political tension in the United States, with increasing concern over political violence. State officials now describe the shooting as a targeted attack. Immediately, emergency responders rushed Kirk to Timpanogos Regional Hospital, where doctors attempted life-saving measures. Meanwhile, investigators began piecing together evidence with help from surveillance video and dozens of witness accounts. Attendees described chaos, panic, and confusion following the shot: screams, people ducking, and some fleeing. But what exactly did witnesses see in the crucial moments before and after the shot? Stay tuned for what their testimonies reveal. In the moments just after the shooting, an eyewitness, Raiden Desheen, sitting near the stage, recalled, "I heard a pop, and I saw his head fall back, and blood pouring out of his neck. She said the gunshot felt like it was coming from behind me." Other witnesses described seeing someone running across rooftops, panic sweeping through the audience, and security scrambling to respond. Law enforcement quickly identified a person of interest. A video shows the suspect climbing down from the roof of a building and fleeing. He was wearing distinctive clothing, dark tactical gear, mask, helmet, carrying a high-powered bolt-action rifle, and spotted in Converse sneakers. Authorities recovered impressions, shoe prints, and palm prints from the rooftop. 2 individuals were initially detained, but both were released after investigators found no link to the shooting. The suspect remains at large. Meanwhile, the FBI and Utah Department of Public Safety have offered a $100,000 reward for information leading to the suspect's identification or arrest. Later, we'll get into how public officials are framing this attack and what they say about the threat of political violence in America. Within hours, reactions came in from across the political spectrum. Utah Governor Spencer Cox called the event a political assassination and pledged that those responsible would be held accountable. President Donald Trump described the incident as a dark moment for America, labeling Charlie Kirk a martyr for conservative values. Other political leaders in both parties condemned the violence, urging unity and rejecting further bloodshed. Media outlets raised the alarm about growing rhetoric and polarization. Turning Point USA released statements mourning Kirk's death and appealing for prayers for his wife, Erika Frantzve, and their 2 children. The organization also asked the public to respect the family's privacy as they deal with grief. Across America, vigils were held in multiple cities. Supporters gathered in UVU and also in Arizona, reflecting Kirk's strong support base. Still, many are asking, what does this mean for campus security, for political speech, and for the future of such public events? We'll go there in a moment. The campus community and law enforcement are facing scrutiny over security protocols. UVU had about 6 campus officers on duty, plus Kirk's traveling security detail. Critics question whether that was enough given the size of the crowd, about 3,000 attendees. The layout of the event allowed visibility from rooftops, including the Losi Center, which investigators believe was the origin of the shot. Utah Valley University suspended classes and events through September 14 to allow the investigation and campus safety review. Authorities are reviewing footage from multiple angles, including rooftop cameras, to determine vantage points the shooter used, time span between shot and response, and possible failures in crowd control. Security experts are weighing in, saying that the attack underscores vulnerabilities at public political events especially outdoors. They point out the need for better rooftop surveillance and controlled access to high elevations near speaking platforms. Up next, how Charlie Kirk's family is coping and what his wife Erika Frantzve has said in public so far. Charlie Kirk, aged 31, is survived by his wife Erika Frantzve and their 2 young children. Public records indicate their daughter is roughly 3 years old and their son about 1 year old. Erika has released few statements asking for privacy, asking supporters to keep the family in prayers, and emphasizing the priority is caring for the kids. Before his death, Charlie had shared his philosophy about intentional relationships, the importance of integrity, and balancing activism with family life. Ideas echoed in interviews and social media posts. Sources like People and Wikipedia document that his podcast, Youth Outreach, and his Prove Me Wrong debates were central to his identity. Friends describe him as energetic, deeply committed to conservative values, and loving toward his family. Even supporters who disagreed politically admitted his devotion to his children and wife was genuine. Erika's public acknowledgement is muted, focusing on the love they shared rather than politics. Finally, what lessons can we draw from this tragedy about political safety, activism, and what Charlie Kirk may have hoped for his legacy? Charlie Kirk's death on September 10, 2025, was more than a headline. It reignited urgent questions about political violence and public safety. And just hours ago, officials confirmed that the suspect, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, was taken into custody in southern Utah. Investigators say he allegedly confessed to family members, and a tip from a close acquaintance helped lead law enforcement to his arrest. This breaking update changes the trajectory of the case from a manhunt to preparing for prosecution. But questions remain. What was his motive? And how will this tragedy reshape security at political events in America? What lesson will you carry from this? Is it about how we protect public speakers, how we hold political rhetoric in check, or how we support families caught in tragedy? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to CeleWave for more in-depth coverage of these stories.